London, 1872. I have entered into the service of a new gentleman. It would seem he is a gambling man. And that is the game that we will be playing. It's a classic text adventure game, one with a lot of replayability and one which I definitely recommend to play yourself also because it has so many different variants, how things can play out, how you can choose to make your route. It's a great game. It's a really great game. As you can already see and as you can suspect, it's the game called 80 Days. It's based on the novels of Jules Verne, which probably everybody knows at least because they've been made into movies, and obviously the book is very popular and also worth reading, of course. But this is a little bit of a twist on the story with many different interesting things. So it has its kind of own world building, and we're going to explore that together, at least in one playthrough. Although, as I said, like, it's worth replaying because it has so many different variants for how to replay it. You can actually replay it like 6-7 times and get a new story basically each time. So let's begin here in London. Monsieur Phileas Fogg returned home early from the Reform Club and in a newfangled steam carriage besides. I helped him down, and the iron-lugged steam-driven horses clattered away. "Passepartout," he said, "we're going around the world." Around the world, monsieur?" I asked, utterly astonished. "We shall circumnavigate the globe within 80 days. He was quite calm as he proposed this wild scheme. "We leave for Paris on the 8:25, in an hour." This was a shocking turnaround for my master, who was, by all accounts, a creature of inflexible habit and mechanical regularity. Perhaps the carriage's engine fumes had affected his reason. "For Paris, monsieur?" "To begin with, yes. Pack an alimator and my evening jacket. There is not a moment to waste. You, Passepartout, now have funds. So we have £4,000. Quite a lot of money for the time, I would expect. And we have a travel journey towards Paris available for us. Quickly, Passepartout, collect our things and we will be off." So we can pack our things. So we have only limited space here that we can take. So he asked us to take the altimeter, and we will also pack the evening jacket, and then we have to decide, do we want to take the timetables or we want to take a wax cylinder or playing cards? I guess we'll take the timetables, but we have to make some decisions here. The time is ticking. So our accomplished Engelmann's wardrobe should help us negotiate times with the upper class journeys. So some items help you. So here we can better negotiate with upper class people. And the timetables have given us some information about what kind of journeys are available here, which is also an important information. So some of them we know already. So let's depart towards Paris on the Amphibiet Express. Departing now. Let's go. And we're off to the races here. The mechanical horses raced past Piccadilly Circus and Pall Mall faster than a team of thoroughbreds, even though the whistle at the 8:25 was blowing as we pulled up on the Charing Cross station. "We have no tickets," I explained. I think that makes sense. That does not signify," Monsieur Fogg remarked over his shoulder as he hurried towards the platform. "We must not miss this train." I rush after him. And we leapt aboard just as another train whistle pierced the air. A guard raised his thick brows at us as we settled into a nearby compartment. He held out a hand. "Tickets, please." "Alas, monsieur, we were in a great hurry." No, I think we're not the lying type. I explained, giving him a besearching look. "We did not have time to buy tickets." "You may purchase them from me," the guard was saying, "though it is more expensive, I'm afraid. £85, please." Well, let's give it to him. It's fair money. We do have it. I handed over the £85 and smiled a thin smile from one working man to another. The guard gave me our tickets and slid the compartment door shut behind him with a pneumatic hiss. So you can see a lot of things are a little bit steampunk inspired, you could say. Our funds have gone down somewhat and we're now polished. I am in fine form, but we must make haste so I can have a conversation with our master. I'm at your service, Monsieur Fogg. So let's talk about the journey here, I think. But tell me, Monsieur, what's the purpose of our journey? I have made a hefty wager, and I do not intend to lose. The journey will be most expensive, Monsieur. Indeed, but we can earn a little from buying and selling our possessions as we travel. Very good. So yeah, we have some possessions here. London's smog gave way to rolling hills and the pastures of the Kentish countryside, still untouched by the hand of a technological advancement. So let's repack our bags. I think we very much threw everything in a hurry. Monsieur Fogg read his paper whilst I repacked our bags, thrown together in haste and confusion, as afternoon turned into exorably to evening. I discovered that my master was one of those gentlemen who broke their silence rarely, if at all. A guard rapped on our door a few miles before Dover. "We're about to submerge," he warned. "Takes some people a bit funny, so watch out." "What do you mean, submerge?" I cried. "This is the London to Paris Amphitrite Express," he explained, as though to a particular dim-witted child. "The submersible train, talk of all the London papers." "Then this is the Mer train," I explained. He made a face. "Bloody journalists and their silly names," he muttered. "Every inch of her has been examined and stamped with the artificial seal. This is the world's only bathyscope locomotive." I pressed my face to the window glass as the fins above the Amphitrite's wheels extended with a hydraulic hiss. Night fell, and we plunged past the end of the track into the freezing water of the English Channel. Crazy. The Amphitrite plowed through the water overnight and splashed up onto the wider gauge French tracks at Calais as dawn broke. "So, do you have a route in mind, Monsieur?" I asked as the water of the channel dried from the compartment windows. "I am as yet undecided," my master admitted. "The new canals has sped up the shipping route from the Suez to Bombay, though perhaps we could take the Trans-Siberian Railway across Russia." "Surely not Siberia," I explained. "It is so cold and grim, and I have a particular fears of bears." "Then we would do well to buy furs," he replied, refraining from rolling his eyes. "There are other alternatives. We may also travel overland and across the Black and Caspian Seas." I think we are worried more about our safety. But which is safest?" Monsieur Fogg raised an eyebrow. "There is no place in the world which is not safe for an Englishman," he said coolly, with a great finality. Parbleu, I scarcely knew what to think. We arrived at the Paris Gare du Nord just after 1 o'clock. Automaton porters lifted our luggage and then our persons onto the platform with long, delicate, filigreed iron arms. Paris, city of my heart. I was home, but not to stay. So we talked about going from the Suez to Bombay, through Jeddah and Aden, or the Trans-Siberian from Moscow towards Yekaterinburg, Omsk, Irkutsk, Karim, whatever, and then up to Vladivostok, I guess. Some of our possessions could earn us well here, so we can go to the market to sell evening jacket, buying some wine, gentleman traveler set, shaving kit. Extra luggage could be worth it, I guess. Copenhagen, Warsaw, Budapest. I'm still not sure where we will be going next, so going to Berlin to sell this could be very valuable. Traveling cloak, they're both quite cheap. I think I will pick them up just in case we will go to Berlin. I'm not sure yet, actually. I haven't played this game in a long time. Copenhagen, Budapest, not sure if we will go there. Okay, we'll pick it up. We have the money right now. Okay, then let's go exploring in Paris. So now we uncover what routes we can take from Paris. We had a few hours to spare. I asked Monsieur Fogg if I might enjoy my city before we had time to leave. Indeed, and should you learn anything of note, be sure to relay it. I nodded and headed into town. The talk on the streets was of one thing only: an enormous, elegant oval stadium, constructed upon the green fields of the Champ de Mars, and containing the technological marvels, art, amusement parks, and milling crowds of the World's Fair of 1872. Is that the current year? I think so, yeah. My city still wears the scars. Would he want us to visit fairs? That's a good question. I mean, we are looking at everything, so... I ventured inside the grand illuminated pavilions of the exposition. An artificer was replacing an arc light. Airships could be good. I mean, our master would truly be interested in that. I went west towards the airship hangar, past a booth with a husband and wife pair selling panoramic hot air balloon rides to eager tourists. The hangar was crowded with airships and flying vehicles of all shapes and sizes, attended by sharp-eyed crews from all over the world, and my eye was immediately caught by a metal balloon, Ilford-class airship, Savakar Atmotic, 4-propeller one, powered Ottoman, bulky coal gas powered Ottoman Gaiik. Okay, lots of interesting things. Peruvian gyrocopter. Let's say with the Egyptian airship, that sounds the most agreeable one. That is fast. Like, balloons are very slow, but airships, that could be something. Painted all over with the stylish poppies and feathers, it resembled nothing more than a vast flying sarcophagus. Do people really fly in such things? I asked the exhibitor. Indeed, hundreds of them do, and every day, he replied with a boomish laugh. They say the skies of Arabia are crisscrossed with the trails of the Egyptian ships. Perhaps one day, soon, Monsieur Fogg and I would find ourselves flying in such a craft. I returned to the exposition center, my thoughts turning with clouds and engine rotors. Avenues sprawled in every direction between the inviting, illuminated pavilions of the exposition. Let's do about this artificer. An artificer was replacing an arc light, which had burned out. She first disconnected the strange machine powering the lights. It had a spinning iron wheel, which was wound around with a series of amateur coils. What is this device, artificer? I asked politely, my eye staying on the copper-lit pin which proclaimed her profession. It's a bleeding nuisance, is what it is, the artificer grumbled in a thick Yorkshire accent. These grammar machines are finicky beasts. Grammy machines. Quite. Well, it's a... never mind. She waved my question away. It's a steam engine, all right. Only doesn't make steam. Will that do? I hate explaining this stuff to laymen. The harshness of her tone was belied by her gentle touch as she unscrewed the arc light's globe in an enamored glass and replaced the 2 carbon rods within. She reconnected the supply, and the 10 Yablochkov candles connected this in series lit up at once more. They are miraculous, I breathed. The artificer snorted. Their hard work is what they are. Miracles indeed. But her mouth softened into a small, proud smile. She looked at her pocket watch, cursed, and hurried off, dropping something as she went. I hurried after her to return it. She thanked me. My medallion. I'll need that to get my lunch from the canteen. Thank you. Let's bow in return, and she giggled. Stop that, you'll make me blush. She rubbed the coin thoughtfully. I was given this for my work in Istanbul, I made a very special automation. I think it works as the driver now, on the route up to from Izmir. I think that's right. An automation who can drive? Of course. Is that so strange? I could only shrug. Who knows what is normal in this modern world? I looked about me once more. Crowds of tourists adjusted and heaved past, their eyes wide with wonder. So it's interesting to learn more about this Artificers Guild, I guess. I took a stroll down the Avenue of Nations. Let's go to the Artificers Guild. Draped with banners and emblazoned with their copper-lit sigil, a steam-powered automation orchestra played gleaming brass instruments. Incredible displays of machines. Let's listen to the instruments, I think. So a steam-powered automation orchestra played gleaming brass instruments while a mechanical sommelier popped the cork from a champagne bottle and poured out bubbling over glasses for passing tourists. One of the artificers was explaining the guilds. Had his hands deep inside a human-shaped automation, rummaging through its clockwork innards. He took out a piece of engraved glass and peered at it with a jeweler's loupe. Dashing thing, he cursed in upper-class English tones, and looked up. Oh, hello. I didn't mean to interrupt, I said politely. Nonsense, young man. He waved the glass shard dismissingly. I'm trying to build an automation that can cook, you see. But it's not going well. He looked mournful. This one can't even fry a chip. Surely humans are perfectly capable of cooking, I remarked. Do we need automata for such things? You have clearly never been to an English boarding school, he replied and shrugged. The things old Miss Parsons would do to cabbage, the tender stomachs of Britain's youth would be much safer in our mechanical hands. Perhaps they should simply hire French cooks, I suggested with a little wink. A French cook, eh? The artificer stroked his moustache thoughtfully. Good thought, old chap. Perhaps I'll go and find myself a cook to model my automation upon. The artificer smiled. I wished him well in his culinary endeavours. He was, at least, the right city to find a cook, and returned to the centre of the exhibition, ears ringing with the bombastic tunes of the steam orchestra. My feet were tiring, and the hour was growing late. I returned to Monsieur Fogg, who was eating a meal of plain boiled beef à l'anglaise. Did you enjoy the exhibition? My master inquired diffidently, as though I had been out visiting an aged great aunt. As though I had been out visiting a great aunt rather than witnessing all the wonders that the modern world had to offer. Will we be travelling by airship, do you suppose? I asked. I think it is highly likely, he replied. They are expensive, but extremely fast. I dreamed that night of mechanical wonders and automations with beautiful, enamoured faces, knowing little of the strange inventions and stranger people I would soon encounter in my journeys around the world. I've now become courageous. We discovered some new route, Izmir to Istanbul, yes. And I suppose the clock is ticking. We must decide our next step. Do we have some options for today? No, we do not. So we can see that we have some different routes. So we can go to Munich. So we had this route from Munich to Berlin that would be good for selling one thing that we had in our luggage here. So this is really needed, but going to Berlin for like selling the wine would be really nice because we can get a lot of money from that. So I suppose for today we'll spend the night in the hotel. We took a hotel for the night. We will be comfortable here, Monsieur Fogg remarked, but travelling overnight will often be more efficient. So we must board the longest journeys available. Perhaps, he replied, the short answer indicating, I think, that one day journeys might often be more flexible in the timing and would allow for more connections. Still, the surrounding of the hotel risks were most enjoyable. So then we shall depart. Well, I suppose we only have the option to go to Amsterdam. I was hoping to go to Munich, but it's only tomorrow. Well, there's an option to negotiate, it seems like. Could be altered. Let's negotiate then. No charges today at 6 p.m. Another 170. Or we go to Amsterdam. Let's go to Amsterdam. I think it's fine. So we'll hire a second card for the extra luggage. That's also fine. And let's go. The open road is a little bit bothersome, but let's make progress rather than sit still here until 6 p.m. We found a member of the coachmaker's guild to carry us to Amsterdam. She loaded the cases onto the back, stoked the boiler, and took off at a high speed along the coastal road, swearing around each corner with considerable skill, and, I think, a touch of showmanship. I clung on tight. This would be a terrific ride. So, we can have a conversation again, maybe with the woman here. Greetings, driver. I cannot drive well if you are talking to me. So, let's talk about Amsterdam. They still grow on the best tulips in Amsterdam, no question. Interesting. Can I go from Amsterdam to Berlin? That's what we're wondering about. Yes, Berlin can be reached from Amsterdam by private car, but the journey is a tiring one. And then from Berlin, where would we go? If we wanted to take the Suez instead of going through the wilderness of Siberia, we would probably want to go south towards Munich. Yes, either to Munich or to, well, Bucharest, I suppose. No idea. Merchant Astrahan will pay huge amounts for candles scented rose from Bucharest. Okay, thank you for that information. I don't know how you know. Alright, so we discovered already a route. That's very helpful. So maybe we can go also to Prague or Vienna, I guess is the better ways. Once or twice, the metal-rimmed wheels lifted the chassis clearly from the road on one side, only to bump down after a chuff and puff more of the engine. We jolted around like a much poultry. We must have topped 40, perhaps even 50 miles an hour. A marvelous way to travel. I think like we enjoy the fastest, I guess, maybe. The Polish inventor Bozek, who had first attached a perfectly decent locomotive engine underneath a flimsy wooden crate, was clearly a genius. Such cars were growing in popularity. If I were not destined to be a valet until the day I have grey ears in my eyes, in my ears, I would become a car driver and get the rich and famous around the mountains of the south of France every day between the hours of 2 and 6. Does such a role exist? Perhaps I will invent it, if not. Toot toot. Let's talk to the driver a bit more. As we rattled along, I spoke to our driver about what lay ahead and learned that there is neither bank nor market in Christina. In Norway, I guess. Right, that's the... Oslo was called Christina a long time. So, we have the option to fetch a few pounds here. Valuable here. Okay, let's sell it. A carriage list. A lost Rembrandt. Oh, if we can go to Munich to sell that, that would make our journey very easy. So I want to check if the route is already available on Saturday in 2 days. That's crazy. We cannot spend 2 days here. I suppose we must explore and see if we can find an alternative route. Okay, we can go to Munich. Though the people of Amsterdam move about in canal-side streets with a sense of optimism and good cheer, our own mission left little time for exchanging pleasantries. I found a street peddler who greeted me with a cheerful smile beneath a caterpillar-like mustache. What is the cheapest way out of the city? I asked. He must. Most likely the hydrofoil heading north to Norway, he struggled. It is fine enough if you don't mind being jolted around. Is it fast? 2 days, I think. The peddler reached into his pocket. Buy an apple, £1. Alright, let's buy an apple. I bought it, took it with a smile. What's the fastest way on from here? Car, I suppose. The roads are good, so the canals used to be better. But now they seem almost out of date, he sighed. It's a curse to be rich in the past. By the time the future rolls around, you are poor again. I find the rich mostly stay rich. He shrugged, and I began to wonder whether that truism would apply to my master after our journey was done. We're going around the world, I declared. He replied, you are like the influenza. I thanked the peddler and moved on. So many choices. All that remained was to choose how best to depart. Well, let's plan again. So, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, what's today? Thursday. Ugh, all of these choices are very unfortunate that we have to spend so much time here. I was hoping to be a bit faster, to be honest. Okay, we'll go to the hotel. Then it's Friday, and then Saturday would be the next one. Let's see if we can negotiate somehow. With what remained of the day... I think we should attend to our master. Ensuring he was comfortable with a dear wish he would have a comfortable night. So, is the option... We could depart to Copenhagen today. Tomorrow. Can we negotiate that we can do it today to Berlin? Because I don't need to go to Copenhagen. Negotiate. For 620 to go. Well, we earned a lot of money. Yeah, let's go. 8 a.m. That's perfect. Let's go. Okay. Sometimes you have to rush this game, but... Okay. We'll make all the money back selling the French wine, so it will be good to spend those 600. Our next leg was another short trip in a car. I bound in, eager to get started. We hired the same driver as before. You two, she explains. Get in. Alright, let's enjoy our conversation here. What is your wish, master? Why, my dear Passepartout? About the journey? Day 4, I believe. Early days. We are quite comfortable with money. Indeed. Although we spent already 1/3 of it. Not 1/4 of it. As we departed Amsterdam for Berlin, I begged Monsieur Fogg to allow me to turn at the wheel. Okay. He looked to our driver, who smiled and happily moved to one side. The wheel beneath my hands was like nothing I have experienced before. Almost an electrical sensation, as though thunderstorms rippled inside the wood itself. The mechanisms of the car was quite quickly grasped. The first lever produced forward movement, the sideway levers controlled our gearing, and hence rate of power. The wheel, of course, was to be turned rapidly at all times to release steam into the pistons. We made good time, though at the end of the day my palms were scorched and red hot. Now I know why drivers wear gloves. Relationship with Fogg strengthened. So we can take care of him a little bit to make his health go up, so we have to also take care of him. We're a valet after all. We made good progress in the car. Dude, my friends, dude! Finally, we came upon sight of tilted roofs, the harbor, and the smell of herring. We had arrived in Berlin. And here, unfortunately, nothing remains of the day, so we will quickly pass the night here in the hotel, getting a few hours of sleep. We stayed for the night in the Hotel Adlon on Unter den Linden, the main boulevard in the central Mitte district. From the window, the Brandenburg Gate was lit by upturned gas lamps. I went for a late-night stroll. Along the avenues, past groups of people drinking at low tables. Let's sit down with some of the ladies, we're French after all, who are each trying to outdrink the other. I joined in their game. A foolhardy move on the accustomed to the petit cognac and not to the grand pichet. When I returned to Monsieur Fogg, I was in a somewhat less than steady state. Still, I had discovered that you could obtain zoetropes in Prague, extremely valuable in Izmir. A useful tidbit, perhaps. Well, we could try to make some money going to Prague and then to Izmir. We have deteriorated our relationships a little bit. Well, that's too bad. The market opens at 7. We still need to explore to get out of the city anyway. So let's do that. We don't know the way out. Okay. No way to Prague, really? Berlin. They tell me it was once filled with the glorious sounds of people speaking French. Not so anymore. It seemed so foul on the streets. We did not go out, but stayed in our lodgings, consulting pamphlets on the railway networks of the world that were delivered to our room by a strange system of connected leather pulleys. It made for interesting reading. It seemed the Orient Express, the belle dame of pan-European travel, was in fact prone to delays and reschedulements, while the smaller routes run by the German companies were substantially more efficient. The afternoon turned to evening, and we finished our explorations of Berlin. So let's go quickly to the market. We'll make a good amount of money. Caribbeans, that's too far off. Khartoum, I don't know where that is. Railwayman, oh, we still have the apples. We shall combine it like this, so that should be good. And then we'll already head out towards Munich, I suppose. 1 second. Do we have the Rembrandt still? We took like a lost Rembrandt. Oh my god. This is gonna be good. How do we get back here? Just close it and let's embark towards Munich. Okay, I saw uncomfortable conditions. That's not too great. Steam carriage. Alright. That'll be like a little bit of a rough journey, I suppose. We crossed from Berlin to Munich in a patched up steam carriage. The smoke pumped out on the back through a tall iron chimney, leaving a soot-smudged wake which tailed behind us like a flag. Our driver Christoph could not stop talking about his father, who was an engine driver and had just been promoted. The Kaiser has merged all the state railways into the Reich Railway, he told us proudly. We have the most efficient system of all of Europe. Why are we not taking the train to Munich? Why are we taking the stupid carriage? What of the Orient Express? I asked. He grinned. The parts near Germany work well. The rest of the line will no doubt be excellent once it's finished. Okay, our relations have strengthened at least. Let's have a conversation with him, Christoph. Don't worry, he won't distract me from the road. Let's talk about Munich. Can I just say, one can travel in a private car from Munich to Vienna. The journey's a tiring one, okay. I mean, that's sort of our route. To go to Budapest, Belgrade, that could be a good way. So can we go to Munich? I mean, to Prague would make no sense, but to Belgrade. Yeah, that would be what I want to do. No idea. But I've heard rumors there are still people there. Where? In Belgrade? What happened to Belgrade? Or alternatively, we could go to Venice. Maybe we could take a boat. Can we go to Venice? Yes, one can travel in a private car from Munich to Venice. But the journey's a tiring one, isn't it always? I can give him apples to make him talk more, but I think I got what I wanted out of this. So we could try to take the Orient Express from Munich, I guess, potentially. Let's see. One man passed calling out, "You are English?" "Oh, I'm French." "French," I cried back. The man's expression turned from cheer into anger, and he began shaking his fist, then throwing clods of mud in our directions. "The Franco-Prussian War," Christoph said gently. "Many of these people lost a great deal." Well, probably our people also lost them. I paled and slunk low in my seats. When I agreed to travel the world, I did not realize the world might not be pleased to see me. Alright, let's see the market. Lost Rembrandt, and we have so much money. This is crazy. Oh, Venice. Oh, amazing. Okay, we can sell this, I think, and get the train table. Okay, let's do that. Okay, from Vienna we can go to Warsaw. We can go from Budapest, Belgrade, Thessaloniki, Istanbul, Athens. Nice. Okay, can I go depart right now? No. Tomorrow? We can go to Venice, or we can go to Vienna, which would make more sense. I'm not sure yet. But for today we have to go to the hotel anyway. So we might not be exploring Venice actually. As I expected, my accent was a problem in Munich, to the point where even our mild-mannered concierge went so far as to spill a mug of coffee into my lap. I'll take the man to task, demanding pointedly whether he saw any difficulty with my provenance. He slid from my accusations like a fish from a hook. "You're a valet," he said. "I'm a concierge. We both work for you. You're English, gentlemen." Then let me tell you what my gentleman needs, I replied, sensing his weasel as a creature that would be utilized. We're traveling as fast as possible. We require a hot bath, the best food, and a peaceful environment. The man nodded. It will be done. Okay. Why do our relations deteriorate because of that? Because we're starting to make some arguments. So do we want to go today to Vienna or to Venice? Oh, I'm not really sure. This is a hard question. I would love to travel by train down here maybe, because boats are usually very slow. So we'll take the car to Vienna. I guess so. Let's do it. We'll not even explore Munich because obviously it's not very welcoming to us. So we go with Bozek car. For inexplicable reasons, there was no way to board the Orient Express at Munich. Something utterly strange to do with the custom laws, though. It was... I understand it was actually retribution for unpaid fees. It seems the Express charged countries for the privilege of being connected rather than the other way around. We ended up cramming ourselves into a steam-powered car instead and chuffing along. Well, we do like the cars, it seems. Greetings, driver. Yes, hello. Vienna to Warsaw I don't care that much about. Let's talk about Vienna in general. There are strange rumors about the Austro-Hungarian Empire soldiers. Can I go from Vienna to Dubrovnik? I don't care, to be honest. Vienna to Zurich, Vienna Budapest probably is the most likely that we might take. Indeed, one can travel in a private car from Vienna to Budapest, but the journey is a tiring one. Well, not that I care, but how can I go to Thessaloniki? On the subject of trains, I've heard the Allahabad can be reached from Bombay aboard the Great Indian Peninsula Railway. Okay, alright. Okay, Thessaloniki to Alexandria. One can pick up bolts of pure silk in Alexandria. You can sell them for profits in Agra. Okay. So from Vienna to Budapest is possible, and from Bombay we learned that we can go to Allahabad and to whatever town. Alright, we're almost in Vienna. It was a pleasant enough ride, and our driver, one Mikhail Wurtz, regaled us with stories of his time on the Indian subcontinent. It seemed he had been employed to haul palanquins along the great trunk road connecting Kabul and Agra. Before Agra wandered away, he finished cryptically. I demanded to know what he meant, but he merely grinned mysteriously and said, the tales, I could tell. As we arrived, the driver put out his hand to shake. I will be driving on to Budapest soon if you want. We'll try to take the train. Kabul to Agra, which walked away, whatever that means. Okay, can I already go? No, I don't want to go to Budapest. Can I not go? Oh, there should be like a train here. Why not? Let's go with the thing here. Dusty Road. That could be useful for us. Antalya. We might go to Antalya. Okay, I don't want to have a second carriage, I think. Gentleman said, I think we need more of that. Dubrovnik, Venice, and Budapest. Okay, I forgot about that. So maybe we should go to Budapest quickly. It's just a quick car ride. Let's do it before we go out in the evening. It's already the end of the day, but that way we can at least progress forward today. Even though maybe we could have boarded the train here. We could probably board the train in another town also. We hired our driver friend Mikhail for the journey onboard from Vienna to Budapest. The road followed the rail tracks for much of the way, but we saw no trains as we chuffed along. Strange. Let's take care of Mr. Fogg here, so that we have a good relation with him. We arrived in the evening without incident. Nice. That gave us a little bit of a head start, I think, which is nice. The magnifying glass could be well here. Alright. Thanks for reminding me. A dust jacket Englishman at our hotel recommended a restaurant called Clemens to Monsieur Fogg. The Magyars make an excellent broth, he promised. Ominous words indeed. I'd never really been one for advice from a dusty jacket fellow. For broth. A broth is, in my humble opinion, merely an incompetent consommé, at best an inferior bouillon. Monsieur Fogg was set on the matter, however. I could not argue, and we decided instead to sulk gently in the manner of a well-trained chambermaid. We settled to dinner at Clement's, where our soup arrived in the gleaming silver tureen. My master, a man of impeccable high standards, even remarked upon the tureens' flawless polish, at which point it exploded. Oh my god. He lost so much health here. It exploded, splattering myself, Monsieur Fogg, and an extremely bewildered waiter in admittedly delicious salmon broth. A fellow dinner had been struck by the edge of a tureen lid and was bleeding from the temple. Should we attend to our master, or should we try to help somebody who's actually bleeding? I mean, that's a bit tough question here. I rushed to the aid of the person who was bleeding, pressing a napkin to his head while my master looked on unperturbed. The head chef had, by this time, emerged from the kitchen. He pointed towards the wall and began a Valorant rant, which needed little translation. The broth had splattered the ivory wall in the intricately curved shapes of a lily, unmistakably the symbol of the Artificer's Guild. I examined the ruined tureen. Right at the bottom it was a tiny automation, the size and shape of a scarab beetle. It was rather clogged with soup and a bit dented, but its metal legs were still kicking. Clearly it was responsible for the symbolically exploding soup. Should I pocket it? Maybe it's interesting. Let's pocket it. I pocketed it swiftly, while everyone's attention was otherwise occupied. It had the same lily etched into its hammered thin wings. I looked around the chaos caused by the single bowl of exploding soup. What did you do to the guild? Our waiter sighed. They were banned by the Emperor, so we could make our own imperial automata outside of their control. The guild is growing more vocal in its objections. Personally, I thought that the Austro-Hungarian Emperor was a fool. Such matters smacked of European profligacy. Much better to do things the English way, with as little fuss and exploding soup as possible. Best if the matters political are left as far as possible from the dinner table. Should we make our excuses or stay for the main course? I mean, our master was splattered and stuff, but still, we probably want to eat, right? I mean, I'm not sure. We made our excuses soon after and left. My stomach made us unseemly grumbles as we walked back along the elegantly lit and newly macadamied Andrassy Avenue. Would be unseemly to gloat, but I cannot resist. I knew nothing good could come of broth. Your funds have gone down and relations have deteriorated because we complained about it afterwards. Alright, so I suppose we cannot depart right now, right? Or we could, to go to Thessaloniki right now. To Athens even. Should we go to Athens or Thessaloniki to go to Istanbul afterwards? Ooh. I feel like Athens and then go further. Alright. Yeah, we have to hire extra space because somehow we have 3 suitcases, but we have no time to do something with it. But this will be the end of the first episode. Thank you for joining me on this one, and see you next time. Take care.